Hello investors and traders, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. In today's video, I want us to talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a semiconductor company. They produce a lot of things. Some of the things includes GPUs and other chips that are used in different applications. So this is a stock that has caught my attention based on price action. Price action, it simply means technical analysis. But before we go to technical analysis, I want to cover some ground just to give a brief introduction to some people that are not familiar with the stock. Like I said, the company provides various devices, especially in the semiconductors. As you can see, they've got plenty of hardware. Most of the stuff is GPUs, but they've got other stuff. The GPUs are the most common because people either buy it for Bitcoin or cryptocurrency mining, but it is also used in gaming PCs and work stations. Then obviously there are other things that you can find this, but they also have some software that is used in different applications. As you can see here, there are some metaverse applications and automotive applications and a whole lot of other applications that are used in here. So if you go to the investor relations under corporate home, then you can be able to download their 10Q, which is just their report to the SEC, right, the Security Exchange Commission. So if you go there, we can see that the recent report that came out, it came out for the 3 months that ended in October 30, 2022. And then we can see they will compare it on the 3 months period, which is a quarter on quarter, but also there's an option to compare it over a 9 months period. What we see here for the NVIDIA Corporation, it is what they reported at the end of October 2022. We can see that the company reported a net income of 680 million. All the values are quoted in millions, and also pay attention that these results are unaudited. So from this net income, we can see that there are a lot of other expenses in there, and the final comprehensive income, it goes to 647 million. That is on a quarter to quarter comparison. Over a 9 months period, we can see that it is 2.8 billion, but this is a significant decline compared to the previous 9 months, which it was 6.7 billion in there. So there are a lot of things that you can see in the report. We can see in the balance sheet where we're interested in the current asset. We can see that the company has a current asset of about 23 billion, which is good. It looks nice, but we need to compare this to current liabilities. Then we see the current liabilities, they stand at about 6.8 billion. So if we take that 6.8 billion, we subtract it from the current asset of 23 billion, there we are left with a positive figure. This tells us that NVIDIA has a positive net workflow or net working capital. So that is something that we're interested in. And then there is also a lot of other things that you can read there that talks about different things. One of the things that I'm interested in at the end is the earnings per share, because as a shareholder, you want to know whether the company is making money per share. Remember, whenever we're investing, we are buying shares. So that is something that we're interested in. Also, sometimes people pay attention to cash and cash equivalents. So you can see that the cash is currently sitting, or the cash and cash equivalents, because it is not just cash alone. It could be other things that are equivalent to cash. It is sitting somewhere around 2.8 billion US dollars. So there isn't much we can say from this, but it is a long document. You can read this document so that you can find relevant information. On Twitter, there is a Twitter account. It's called App Economy Insight. They make these beautiful graphics that summarizes some of the things nicely. You can follow them on Twitter there. So at this moment, we're looking at the NVIDIA Q3 income statement that they have nicely summarized for us. You can see that NVIDIA generates revenue from different segments or different markets, but the total revenue on quarter, it decreased by 12%. So the total revenue was 5.9 billion there. From this 5.9 billion that came in, the company had a gross profit of 3.2 billion. So what you're interested in is to see if the company is profitable at the end of the day, because a company can have a nice figure for revenue, but if the cost of revenue is higher than well, in that case it would be a loss if the cost of revenue is high. Or even if a company does report a positive gross profit, if the operating expenses are higher than the operating profit, then that effectively means that that company is running at a loss. I will show you an example of a company that is running at a loss. So in this case, we see a gross profit of 3.2 billion. At the end, we can see a net profit of 0.7 billion. Everything in this case is quoted quarter on quarter, so there's 11% margin there in comparison in terms of quarter on quarter. Other people, they're usually interested in the R&D of a company. We can see that Nvidia spends around $2 billion in R&D alone. Okay, so the good thing is that we see that even though there's that 12% decline in revenue, the money is coming, there's a gross profit that is there, and at the end this company ends up with cash, or it ends profitable. Whenever a company is profitable, then the investors can expect to receive dividend from that particular company. But remember that investors are not entitled to dividend. So a company that generated revenue but it resulted in a loss is AMD. AMD is another semiconductor company. They are in the same sector as Nvidia, not necessarily a rival, but some people can consider it as a rival. They also had about 5.6 billion revenue, but in this case it's comparison in year on year, so they have a nice increase of 29% there year on year. You can see the gross profit, it's 2.4 billion, but the cost of revenue it's 3.2 billion. As a result, the company ended up with an operating expense which is a loss of 2.4 billion. Therefore, this company did not end with the profit. So don't just dwell so much on the revenue. What is important for me, what I always look at, is whether the company is profitable or not profitable. One of the companies that is quoted in this image as well is Intel, another microchip company. We can see they have a nice 15.3 billion revenue, but the company, the end, it ends up with a loss. But the intention of this video is not to talk about the other companies. The intention of this video is to talk about Nvidia, and that is the company that we're interested in. So now when you look at the chart of Nvidia, so we see that Nvidia, it was on a nice downtrend there, coming around this, I think that was around October 2022, where it bottomed. Then it attempted to trade higher, coming to this level. Okay, so now what you see with Nvidia, let me just try to shift it a bit. So what we see with Nvidia, as it was coming back to this previous resistance level, that is where we are paying attention, because we want to see what is going to happen here. The worst case scenario is that the stock finds resistance and then it comes back to retest this previous low. Like I said, that is the worst case scenario. The scenario that I would like to see, I want to see Nvidia breaking above this resistance level. When it does that, the stock can just continue to push all the way up to about $340 per share, or the stock can break above, come back and retest this 180, 190 US dollar per share before proceeding going up there. At the moment, we do have a position on Nvidia. We bought Nvidia when it tried to break at this just above this small consolidation level. At the moment, the position is on profit, but as you can see, there is a resistance level here. So we are just waiting to see what is going to happen, if there's going to be enough buyers to push the stock high. So now what is the plan? If the share price does break above this level, we do have a buy stop order around 190 US dollars per share, so that if the share price claim this price, then we can easily get an entry there. Like I said, we're anticipating that if it does break above this level, then the share price can push up. But something that you need to keep in mind, there's this potential resistance level, and this level, and that level, of course the previous high. All these levels can potentially act as resistance level. So as the share price move up, you need to pay attention around $220 per share, $280 per share, and somewhere around $320 per share. But this is the trade idea in terms of the bullish scenario. But like I said, the bearish scenario, which is the alternative scenario, is that the stock find resistance around 180, 190, and then it comes back to retest this previous level here, somewhere just above $100 per share. We hope that, well, because we already have a position, we hope that this scenario does not play out, but we do have a stop loss just around $140 US per share, so that if the share price pushes lower, then we get taken out there for a small loss. So at this moment we cannot predict where the share price is going to go. We are just like every other market participant. We can only hope that the share price will move in our favor, but if it doesn't, then I guess there's nothing that we can do except ensure that we minimize our loss. So that's it that I wanted to share with you today. If you found value in this video, please make sure that you smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We will see you in the next video.